So first off, can you just introduce yourselves and your role with the film?
I'm Joe Knopp, one of the producers on the film.
And I'm Caleb Castille. I play Tony Nathan, the lead character of the film.
I want to start off first by saying congratulations. I really love being able to see the film, even a rough cut of it. I think it's a powerful story. Can you guys share a little bit about how you got to be involved and Joe, specifically with your Alliance connection? And I know, Caleb, you have a pretty cool story of how you got to step into the role of Tony. So just go into that a little bit.
Yeah, I live in Dayton, Ohio. Pastor David Smith is my pastor there. Been with him for probably about 13 years. My entry into the film, a great friend of mine who I grew up with, has been a producer for over 20 years. I've been working in finance. He's been with Warner Brothers. He's been trying to get into the faith-based space for a long time, but trying to do it at a high level. So for about 10 years, I've been flying out to LA trying to find the right project to get involved with. And when Woodlawn came about, it was the right time to get involved. So, and there's been a lot of God stories for how everybody who's entered into the film, including Caleb, who has a great entry into the film. So I'll let you hear his story.
Yeah, man. So I was playing football at University of Alabama, and after my junior year, I transitioned from football into acting. And then this film came about a year after that. Through a series of fortunate events and blessings. I heard about the role first from kind of just the buzz about it when they were doing kind of like the startup deal, trying to get money for it. My brother was involved with that. And then like a year later when they got all the funding and they were going into production, my agent called me and I got the audition for the role, and I just felt so connected to it when I read the role. There was a lot of similarities between me and Tony. And I actually had the script that night. I got the role and I signed it and dated it and kind of just felt like God had it for me. And I was just very confident in that. And then I actually ended up not getting the lead role at first. And then through some more series of fortunate events, the actor who they did hire fell through, and then it came down to me. So I felt like I was supposed to be there in that position, and I'm just grateful that I am. And it's been huge for me. It's been great.
So can you tell me a little bit about production and what that experience was like? Was it, a great time? Were you on a tight schedule at all? That kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it was they ran a tight ship. I mean, it was by far, it was my first feature, but just hearing from the other actors who had been in features for a while, they were saying how well everything went. And I mean, there was days, you get into about the sixth to seventh week of filming, and like everybody's just tired by that point, but we didn't have really any major issues with the film. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was such an experience for me. It was tough. I mean, I just had come off of playing college football like a year before, and I mean, it was even tougher than that. Some of the practices and the fall camps that we had don't compare to the filming process. I mean, because when you're filming, you're playing football, 6 to 10 to 12 hours a day. It's grueling.
Was it like working with Sean and Jon Voight and those guys?
I mean, those guys are great. I mean, they're just like Michael Jordan, and when he steps on the court, he elevates everybody's game. They're the same way. When John or Sean step into a scene, you just follow their lead, and they're so good, they'll make you look good.
Right. Joe, do you have anything to share about working with John and Andy or Kevin or any of the other producers?
I mean, it's just a great collection of folks. I think everyone really wanted to do justice to the story. It's a true story. It's an amazing story back in the 70s, how only God could fix a problem that existed for decades. So I think everybody just really wants to do the story justice, and I think everyone delivered on that.
So I've been following Woodlawn like on Twitter and stuff like that, and every once in a while I see somebody posting, "Oh, I saw an advanced screening of Woodlawn, and it's awesome," and that kind of thing. So I know that this showing at Council is not the only one of its kind. So can I ask, like, who are you going around and showing the rough cut to, and what's the response been, and who are you targeting?
Our desire is to use this movie as a tool for pastors. I think when you look at entertainment as an industry today, it's really shaping the lives of our children. So our desire is to compete with Hollywood and provide content that can hopefully drive folks back to the church. So with that being understood, using it as a tool for the church, we want to get the message right. So we've been spending a lot of time doing screenings for pastors and big ministries to get their voice into the film. So what was seen here won't be the final cut. We literally use the feedback to make the changes. So our desire is to hand this to the church and use it as an opportunity for ministry. I think the days of putting up a white tent in our church parking lots are probably behind us, but inviting a friend to a movie theater, I think we can still do that. So that's our desire, is to get people out to see it.
Do you have any idea yet at this point what the theatrical release of Woodlawn is going to look like?
We have a release date of October 16th, and it'll be a normal release, so it should be in most theaters. So we're excited about that.
So one thing I was thinking of as I watched the film was I feel like it's really relevant, especially in the last several months, where we've seen in the news a lot of tension, between people and communities. And I'm wondering from both of you, what does the film mean to you? How do you hope that it can make an impact as in those communities?
Well, I mean, my main hope is that it just gives people a blueprint to see how, if you allow the power of love to come into any situation, how it can positively affect it. And I think that's so crucial right now. So I think that's my biggest deal, is that people will leave the film wanting to be a better person, wanting to help their fellow man as much as they can. And so I think when it boils down to it, a lot of us are just too selfish, and this film treats you how to take the focus off of yourself and your own issues and needs, and try and put your focus and attention on what other people need. So I just want people to leave the film wanting to be a better person, and with questions also, with questions, whether or not it be, am I the best person I need to be, So
I think important to me is the fact that the story is over 40 years old, and racial tension was at its peak, and it was a situation where the government couldn't fix it, the superintendent couldn't fix it, only God could show up and revive not only a football team but a high school, and that poured over into the community. So as we've been filming, Ferguson has occurred, Baltimore has occurred, so really we're not much further down this road, and I think we're at a time where as Christians we need to unite, which can be a struggle at times, but we have to unite and be bold with our faith and help the world understand that, again, only God can fix the problems that we're still facing today that we thought were behind us.
So along with that, do you think the film is more important because it's coming from openly Christian filmmakers and companies like Flix and Provident that are putting it out?
I think a lot of faith-based companies are united on this project, really for the first time. I think what happens a lot in all industries, and unfortunately in the within churches and the faith community, we don't work together a whole lot. So I think the fact that we all came together for the purpose of helping people understand that God is still relevant and that He can solve these problems. Yeah, I think it's unprecedented that these groups are working together.
Kelby, you have anything to add on that?
I mean, right along with that, I mean, I think that as long as people just recognize the importance of the message, then the film will transcend. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Any hopes for or other projects you guys are developing or anything after this?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Right now we're going full speed with Woodlawn. We definitely have our eye towards the next couple of projects that are be following this, but we're probably not ready to commit to which one we'll be going with. But we're working on them.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, I mean, just trying to figure out what the next one will be. I mean, with me, especially this being my first feature, I kind of have the freedom to be picky right now with stuff. And that's really a blessing, especially being an actor, because this business is so hard. And I recognize that, and I'm grateful for it. But I think whether it's prior to the film or post-film, whatever I do next, I want to have as big as an impact as Woodlawn does. So, yeah.
Anything else either you want to add about the film or about your time here in Long Beach?
Well, like I said earlier, Pastor Smith is a great friend of mine, so we appreciate the invite out here. I know he was able to share the movie with Dr. Stumbo, and it was great for him to have his positive feedback. So we just appreciated the invite to share it.
Yeah, I mean, anytime we can get it in front of people, it's just a great opportunity. Any eyes that can see it, we're definitely grateful for that. So, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen it, go see it. Woodlawn in theaters October 16th.
Can't wait to see it. Guys, thank you so much for your time.